this session is called a Step Up for Evaluation. And the theme of this session is babies. I have done this earlier also in a couple of years back, and I'm using the same slides again. And the objective of this evaluation session is to help speakers at all levels. Either you're a beginner or you're an advanced level speaker, or you're just right in the middle of your journey. If you want to pick up some skills on evaluation, I've made it in a way that we have tips for everyone. And it's almost like how you step up and start taking baby steps toward evaluation. And it helped me win the evaluation contest in 2020. And for the last 2-3 years, I have been constantly coming in the finals. I want to win it again, but the competition is very intense. And there is no fixed format about evaluation. Everybody has their own ways. Some recommend a CRC way. Some recommend a way wherein you talk about what was good, what was bad, and what could improve. But the intention of all these presentations is to help speakers become a better version. And that is where we should be focusing our attention. In case you have any questions or doubts around it, please just use the chat box. And at the end of the session, I'll cover all the questions which we have done. But I'll keep on the flow. Let's go with the flow, because I have a lot of inputs, narrations to give. So these are some of the points which I want to cover. And the reason I'm using babies over here is because who doesn't like babies? Like, they are the most easiest and the lovable things over here. But I want also to try to take some inputs from you on something like, just give me a second. I'll share my screen again. So okay, can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Okay, and the animation. You know which baby is this? Any guesses?
Some rich person's baby.
So that, hello?
Some rich person's baby.
Some rich person's baby. It's from a rich family.
Tamur.
This was Tamur. And I think there is another baby also in the family, but you know, we know the way the industry works. This person is, or Tamur is going to get a chance to be in movies again sometime. But any idea which is this baby? A recent baby. I think she was born last year. Any guesses?
1,000 baby or something like that number.
No, this is a very famous baby. Like, all the cricket lovers hated the result of her birth because Kohli stopped playing cricket for a while after she was born. Now, whatever be his reasons, but some of them were also speculating that because he became a father, he's not giving attention and everything. But again, if you look at this baby girl's father and mother, this baby has a chance to become either an actress or a cricketer. But let's go to some other babies also. Maybe you are having a tough time looking at this one. I have some more baby pics, and let's see one thing on this one. So any idea on this one? This is Olivia Lightning Bolt, who is Usain Bolt's baby. She was born in 2020. And this is Elon Musk's baby. And he came up with a very innovative name for her, which is pronounced as X-A12. Now you can trust Elon to come up with some new things over here. But the point I'm trying to show over here is that if you look at all these babies, there are some babies which we know that they are going to get a chance to do better. Even in Bollywood, if they get a chance, unless and until they have talent, they will not be able to do things. If you look at these two particular babies, we have Elon Musk's baby. Elon is an inventor, and Usain Bolt is an athlete. Now, both these babies will not be getting a chance in this environment because of nepotism, what will happen in the movie industry. To earn for a chance or to really get ahead like their parents, they will have to work hard. And that is a key message I want to give. If you feel like, how do I get better at evaluation? The first thing you need to know is that nobody's born as a good evaluator. You have to work hard at it. You have to make sure that you are learning the right techniques, you are exercising. If you are trying to be an athlete, you will be doing that. The kind of exercises with Virat did or with Usain Bolt did, same Olympia will have to do if she wants to be a runner like her father. And if Elon's baby wants to be an innovator, she has to learn physics, maths, and everything and go there. And if you want to be a good evaluator, you will have to learn some of the basics. And you'll have to see other people and learn from them and learn from different places. So the first thing is, don't be under an impression that somebody is a good evaluator because they are born a good evaluator, or this is something which can be learned easily. And that is the first thing you need to understand. You will ask me, how do I learn this? Participate. Now look, I love this picture. Like if you look at this picture, it's like a baby which is just born. The doctor, the parents are probably beaming at it. And if you look at the expression of the baby, it's like full of disgust. Why? Why am I born? Why did you bring me out at this point of time? Now I'll have to struggle and work hard. But we have to. If you have to enjoy life, you have to do things, you have to participate. So my first input for the club as well as people is, if you want to evolve as a speaker, the first thing you need to do is start participating in roles as a speaker, as an evaluator. Please participate in all the ways in which a club is giving you an opportunity to speak. We are here to learn how to speak and how to make ourselves better. So please participate, and especially don't pass out evaluation opportunities. I'm going to give you tips which will help you make you better evaluators, and I will also tell you how to look at evaluation so that you don't suffer through anxiety while taking up this role. This is mainly for the newcomers. Okay, so here is another picture. Can you see this? And this is one of the picture which is in my phone. I always use this. So any idea on this picture? Any comments? What do you see?
Perspective.
Right. It's on the perspective. Like on the left side, we have parents who are looking at a wonderful toy they have got for the baby, and they're saying, oh, I love it. There is an elephant, there is a tiger, there is a pig, and the baby must be happy looking at it. But if you look at it from the baby's perspective, all it is seeing is animals' bottoms. And even though kids get excited about almost everything, but I'm sure they are not going to get excited with the toy where it's only seeing babies' bottoms. And you use this perspective to understand what do different sections or different people in Toastmasters meetings want. We have an audience, we have a speaker, and we have an evaluator. I believe the audience wants to have fun and learning if they're not speaking, because that's how you engage. Nobody will come to a meeting if they're not learning anything or not having enough fun. As a speaker, you get an opportunity to speak, you get feedback on how you're speaking, but you also learn how to ensure that you're able to give their message. But if you think of an evaluator, he's in a very unique position. And this is why I asked you to participate in evaluation, because an evaluator is the only person who gets to express his opinion on the spot. A table topics person can go in any direction, but an evaluator has to give what he feels about something, and he is forced to give a positive feedback. He cannot make unnecessary jokes or tell a story or anything more randomly or impromptu speaking he wants to talk. He has to limit himself into certain things so that he gives a very, very positive feedback. If you are a professional or if you want to grow up to a professional, this is the best place to learn how to interact in a professional manner if you take up the role of an evaluator. So keep this in mind. There are a lot of learnings. You just have to look at it very clearly. What do I get out of it when I become an evaluator? You get to speak your mind and you get to give a very positive feedback. Now, this is another meme of a baby which I find all the time. This is like, yes, I did it, kind of a baby. And if you go online and look at this picture or look at this meme, there is another meme which goes around is about the boy who is growing. So there is a very recent photo of this boy with, you know, faint mustache sprouting out and all this, because this is like almost a 12-year-old picture. And we constantly compare that age because the boy keeps on growing. As I said, as an evaluator, as a speaker, you keep on growing when you take evaluation. Now, how do you approach evaluation? What do you do over here? So my suggestion or input is, firstly, understand that evaluation is important. Secondly, think about evaluation is a table topic. Now, when we go for a table topic, we get one quote, one picture, one topic, or maybe 3-point stories or different ways, but we get very limited input. And we get 2.5 minutes to express whatever we feel about it, and we go in every direction. But when we hear a speech, the speaker is speaking for almost 7 minutes, and we are supposed to give only a 3-minute feedback on that. So if you think of evaluation as a table topic, it's a very easy job. And I want you to encourage yourself thinking that it's just a 3-minute feedback on a 7-minute speech. That's how you can look at it, break it down, and that too in a very, very fixed format. You are talking about what you like, how to make the speech better. So the format becomes very, very clear. And that's how you should approach it. Think of it as a 3-minute table topic if you're feeling anxious about attempting evaluation, because it is really going to escalate and move at a very, very fast pace, whatever learnings you are getting out of your speeches. Whatever inputs you get, whatever you think you're improving in your speeches, you're able to share that wisdom with the other person. That too in a very limited time in a positive way. So think about it as a table topic if you have any apprehension. This is mostly for the beginners. Now, how do we give this feedback? What are the areas in which we talk about and how do we talk about it? You will be able to give a very good feedback if you are able to connect to the speaker. And these are 4 ways in which you can connect to a speaker. First thing is listen very attentively. Don't take away attention from the speaker. Sometimes what happens is when the speaker is giving a speech, as an evaluator, you start making notes because you realize something. Oh, he's not using the voice modulation correctly. Let me write a line. Oh, he's not doing body language correctly. Let me write a line. And you take away your focus from the speaker. That can cost you. It happened to me like around 6 years back. I was in an area contest and there was a speech by Toastmaster Aaron. And he gave a very wonderful speech talking about how instead of, he was talking about his interactions with a girl who was encouraging him to use ceramic cups instead of plastic cups or plastic bottles. And in the speech, somewhere he said that instead of carrying plastic bottles, you should be using glass bottles. And I was sitting and making my notes and everything, and I realized there are a lot of plastic bottles around, and he could have easily used it as a prop. And I was writing furiously my notes, and I'm just making notes about it. And I stopped looking at the speaker. He took out a small bottle from his pocket, he showed it, and he put it back. And I missed it completely. And after, say, 20 minutes, I go up on the stage in front of 500 people, area level contest. And I'm like, full encouraging, positive mode. Said, why didn't you use a prop? You should have used a prop. And when I got down, I got really good pats on my back from my club member saying, where was your attention? What are you doing? You're making a fool of us. He already used a prop. So the reason this happened was because I did not pay attention to him. And I took that feedback very seriously. I developed a very, very small and smart way of making notes, which I'm going to share with you today. And when the speakers speak, I will encourage you to use a piece of paper and try to use my method. You can use your own method for any of your evaluation, but today I want you to learn a new method, which is not a CRC method. This is something which I developed and it helps me. Probably it will help you also. So this is an outcome which came out of my interactions as an evaluator or my learning path as an evaluator. So how do we connect? First thing is listen very attentively. Second is relate to the speeches. Now, how do you relate to the speeches? You ask yourself a question. Do I agree with this topic or do I disagree? You will hear a lot of speeches. A lot of speeches are motivational and you will feel like you're agreeing. But there are some areas where you will feel that I don't completely buy this point. Now, the reason you need to ask yourself is because then you're getting involved and you're evaluating and you're assessing and analyzing the speech of the speaker. So listen attentively and try to relate to it. Yes, I agree with it. This is something which I saw happening to me or somebody close to me. No, I disagree. The content needs more cleanup. If you make an opinion like this, it will shape your evaluation. You can also try to speak to the speaker before the meeting. And I'm talking about this in a club environment. Like today, I was talking to one of the speakers who is going to speak today, and I just had a word when we joined in. How are you doing? What are the areas you want to work upon? Any specific areas you're looking forward to? And the reason I'm doing this is not because I want to give a very nice evaluation and I'm looking for pointers. I know my objective is to help the speaker. So if I'm speaking to the speaker beforehand, I feel like I have a small connect with the speaker. He also knows that I'm looking for inputs to help him. So it becomes, my job becomes a little bit easier. So have a word with the speaker. It can be just an ice-breaking kind of a thing. How are you? Everything well? Hope you're doing great. What is the speech about or something? Would you like to share something about your previous speeches? So this is how you develop a connect. Lastly, you need to summarize things in your own words. Like if I agree, disagree, I don't need to use the same summary over. Like if you remember Dhananjay Hittaraj's speech about I see something in you, he uses the word constantly, I see something in you, see something in you. Instead of saying that I see something in people, I can use my own words to summarize and say that there is a huge potential in everybody. Everybody can be a superhero. Now, these are the same things which I'm saying. What he is saying that look at the possibilities in my own words. So this will also help you connect. Like it happens like, you love a serial or something and you go to a person and say, oh, I love Stranger Things. And somebody says, yes, horror category is good. Stranger Thing is amazing. And he's using different words, but the emotions and the content is coming very clearly that both of you are at the same wavelength. So this is how you develop a connect with the speaker and with the topic. And if you do this correctly, the involvement, you will have a good amount of material for your evaluation topics. Just a check, am I going too fast, too detailed? This is okay. Can I have a thumbs up or something? No comments, nothing. You can speak also if you want. I can see some thumbs
Okay.
up. Great. Okay. So this is all about how do we get into a mindset. I'll just move on this side. So listen attentively. I told you how to take shorter notes or take notes later on. See, when you're in a contest environment, and I think 3 months down the line in September, we'll have our contest. It's very important to pay attention. Now, if you look at these images, it is more about how phones and digital media is taking our attention. Here we are encouraging people to take shorter notes or take, I told you the story about the water bottle, but I'm also telling you, don't pen down your entire evaluation when the speaker is speaking. This happens often, like when you're listening, you're making notes, you're very, very under pressure to ensure that you give a very good evaluation. So you start penning down your evaluation. You remember when we used to write answers in our exam, we used to highlight certain points. We used to put a different color for certain points so that it will come to the attention of the teacher, which are the key highlights. So if you want to pen down, just put in key points over here. And when you look at my key sheet or cheat sheet, which I'm going to show, you will see how to make this notes also. Okay. This is another way to relate to anybody. It is relate to your experiences. Are you agreeing or disagreeing, accepting, rejecting, and dissect? Now, one of the things which happen over here is you wonder, do I have the right to do this? And let me assure you that every person who joins in Toastmasters is here to learn how to express their opinion, and your opinion matters. If you have feedback, it is important for you to share that feedback. Whether the speaker or the end user uses it or not, that is his prerogative. But as a person who has an opinion, who has been listening attentively, who is trying to relate, your opinion matters a lot. The 3 minutes which you are going to spend, or the 8 minutes you have spent listening to the person, or the 5 minutes you have been writing your notes, all that time has a value. It is being expressed in terms of an opinion. So don't ever feel that you need to hold back because your opinion, it's your opinion also. Another thing which happens is that when you're getting 3.5 minutes to speak, which is exactly 210 seconds. In those 10 seconds, if you start getting defensive about your opinion, you will start using words like, in my opinion, it is this way. Now, the minute I use the word, in my opinion, I feel this is this way, I'm spending almost 5 to 6 seconds of that precious time out of that 210 seconds. I shouldn't be doing that. So take it as a fact that your opinion is important. Don't be defensive. Don't say that, oh, maybe it's my opinion, in my humble opinion. People come up with various ways to sugarcoat before giving a very strong feedback. You can do this sugarcoating after. As I said, we can speak to the speaker before, but we can also speak to the speaker after the speech, after your 3 minutes are done. So this takes me to the next point is you have to connect to the speaker before the speech and after the speech. I'm sorry, some of the graphics are not visible. It's like towards the end of this cartoon, there is a guy who has completely shaved off his beard. And the line was like, you connect to the speaker before the speech and after the speech. Because what happens is in 210 seconds or 3 minutes, you're not able to express everything. And sometimes you will have many points. And some points will be very, very critical. Like, I know in my club, sometimes it happens that the evaluator feels the project objective has not been met. Is this something we should announce in the meeting during the evaluation or later on? As a club policy, what we do is we speak to the VP education immediately and we call it out that we feel the content has not, the speech has not met the project objectives. And we do just a 1-sentence summary over here. That please reach out to the VP education and the mentor on the achievement of the speech objectives. But after the speech, we definitely meet and say that these were the areas because of which we felt like you were supposed to present a lot of research and data in your speech, and you have not referred to any numbers, statistics, or any studies over here. This is why we feel probably this is not meeting the objectives. Have a word with your mentor, have a word with the VP education to make sure that you're on the right track. As an evaluator, I will evaluate the content and the delivery, how it has happened, and how we can make it better, and we call it out directly. So connecting with the speaker, if you are ready to connect with the speaker before and after, some of your evaluation, some of your apprehension about speaking to the speaker goes away. Secondly, you also are able to control yourself. You don't need to get worried about how much should I speak, and I will come to this point in some time. Now, next topic is you need to understand what the speech is about. And this is a very, very important portion, because when you are giving speeches in pathways, there is an objective which is given to you. And most of the time, the objective is read out. But if you are in a contest environment, or you are just doing evaluation somewhere else and you are not having those objectives, how do you evaluate? You ask yourself, what is this speech about? Is this an inspirational speech or motivational speech? Is the speaker trying to persuade us, or he's just giving us information? Is he trying to just give a humorous speech and develop his humor? Okay, what is the objective of the speech? So there is a beautiful document which calls out on what is the specific objective and what is the general objective of the speech, and why this is important. Because in 2018, I remember there was a gentleman by the name of Sanjay from Chatterati Toastmasters, and he won the evaluation contest. And there were almost 12 people before him, and this was the last person who came at the end of a very hectic 4-day for the evaluation contest. And there was an inspirational speaker who gave a very nice motivational speech, and all the 11 people agreed that it's a motivational speech. Okay, and Sanjay was the only person who came in and said, this is a very nice motivational speech, but if you want to inspire the audience to an action, you need to do 1, 2, 3 things. And it was such a best moment for me, and it was like a categorization that there can be a difference between inspirational and motivational. It sounds like it's the same thing, right? Inspirational and motivational. But he just called out that this sounds very motivational. You can get people charged up, but it will not inspire people to action because you're not giving them what to do. So think about it. What is this speech about? Look at the objectives and think about whether he's meeting the objective or not. And how do we do this? And when you're doing this, you sometimes will wonder, how do I do this? Is this the right way? Or how do we narrate? Because the speech belongs to somebody else. And how can I or a listener can summarize this in 1 sentence or 2 sentences? So here's a story I want to share with you. You know this movie Interstellar? Have you seen it? Any raised hands? How many of you have seen Interstellar? Okay, I see Dheeraj has seen it. Nobody else. Come on, guys. Christopher Nolan movie. Please, please go and see it. It's not as bad as, Tenet was very confusing, but this is very clear sci-fi movie. But there is a beautiful story behind it. Then the name of the musician I forgot. This is this German guy over here, and Christopher Nolan is standing over here. So the movie is a sci-fi movie which involves aliens or future human beings and gravity and a lot of things. But when Christopher Nolan was narrating the story to the music director, he just went and said, I'm making a movie wherein a father makes a promise to his son that he's going to come back to him. Can you make a movie? Can you make a music for this? Okay, and this music was nominated for Academy Awards also. It was so beautiful. And the music director, he worked for 2-3 months on this music, and he came back with a very nice theme, which was like increasing in intensity, and it was a lovely tune, and he kept listening. And then he heard that Christopher Nolan is working on a movie which involves space travel and travel to other planets and all this. And he said, when are you going to make the movie about the father and the son? And Christopher Nolan was like, no, it's the same movie. And instead of a son, you have a daughter now. And the musician said, oh, I have a son, and I thought I was very connected to this thing because it's a father-son movie. So he said, no, the theme remains. This time the father is making a promise to a daughter. I felt our daughter would work very well in this. And then he told the entire story of this movie to him. And there is like use of gravity and black holes and everything. And if you look at it, the way the story is narrated or way Christopher Nolan told, he said the essence of the movie is the same thing. The essence is there is a promise which is being made by a father, and he's trying to keep his promise. So that is a specific objective, or that is a way a specific objective can be given. In a general way, you can say it's a sci-fi movie, it talks about future, it talks about good actors, it has Anne Hathaway, it has so many people in it, but at the end of the day, we are talking about what is a specific objective. Now let's bring this to India. If you remember, one of the best movies in India was Sholay. Now, what is this movie all about? Is it moving? Can you see the next slide? Okay. there's a lag at my end. So if you look at Sholay and if you try to think about it, what kind of Sholay movies, and if you look at online for this, you'll find different things over here. Like Nasruddin Shah really says that this is one of the most horrible movies which is made. There is nothing good about this movie. But we know the kind of movies Nasruddin Shah was acting at this point of time. So he has a very artsy kind of a thing and very intense kind of a thing. So he was not okay with this commercial thing. But if you look at the summary of this, some people may say Sholay movie is all about revenge, or it is about friendship, or it is about the eternal struggle between good and bad. There are different ways in which you can call out the specific objectives. And that's how you should look at speeches also. What the speaker is talking about. What is the overall specific objective of the speech? That will help you give a context to the speech. Okay. My next point is about what I mentioned earlier. Sometimes you will feel very, very hesitant that should I talk about this? Am I the right person? Oh, I have just given 3 speeches myself. Am I the right person to evaluate somebody? Okay, so I want you to tell another story, which I hope will build confidence in yourself. So this gentleman over here is Charles Blondin. He was a guy who lived around 170 years back. And you see the image on the left, there is Charles Blondin, and he was a tightrope walker. There is a very nice scientific name for it. I will leave it open for you to Google it and find out what this profession is called. But this guy used to have a very long tightrope between the Niagara Falls, and he used to walk across it. Then he used to take a wheelbarrow across it. Then in the wheelbarrow, he used to take a lot of things. He used to make an omelette right on the middle of the row, and he used to eat it and then cross it again. Then he used to go to the end, and there was a huge crowd always to watch it. And he used to say, how many of you think I can cross this row blindfolded? And everybody will say, yes, you can do it. We know you can do it. We know you can do it. And then I used to say, how many of you think I can carry a person and be blindfolded on this? Again, they used to shout, yes, we can do it. Yes, we know you can do it. You can do it. And then he used to ask a third question where there was a pin drop silence. And the question was, who wants to get on my back? So a lot of people showed a very huge amount of confidence when somebody else is taking a risk. But when you are supposed to take the risk, they used to take a step back. But the gentleman whose photo you are seeing, who is on his back right now, was his manager. He used to always be around because whenever there was a pin drop silence, he used to come and he used to make him blindfold and he could cross. Now, the reason behind this story is nobody else is going to come and give you enough motivation that you should have confidence. That kind of confidence you should have in yourself. Or your mentor can give you that kind of confidence that go express your opinion. Don't feel bad that I've just given 2 or 3 speeches. You are an articulate person who is trying to learn new things. You have given 2 or 3 speeches. Please feel free to share your opinion. Secondly, have confidence in the speaker also. The speaker who is standing, he wants to learn something. He's open for feedback. Whether he takes it or not is up to him at a later point of time. But right now, he wants that feedback. So instead of keeping a very good opinion to yourself because you are not confident about expressing it in the right way, it's better to give it out in the world and let him decide whether this opinion is useful or not. You should have confidence in yourself to share that feedback and confidence in the speaker that he will receive it and use it because he wants help. Look at yourself. When you give a speech, you welcome each and every feedback which is given to you. Now, you may not apply it in the next speech because you're still struggling with some of the things. Like, for example, I constantly get a feedback like, if I'm speaking for more than 7 minutes, my energy level starts dipping. And I consciously work on it. But that is an area of improvement for me. And I keep asking my mentors and other people also, how was my energy level? This happens only because people are able to tell. And sometimes people tell me that, okay, I didn't like the energy. I didn't think you were doing as great as some other speakers. And it's a feedback for me. The more I ask about it, the more better I get responses. The more I know that I can do things correctly. Okay. Now, what do we focus upon? Okay. This is what I do when I'm focusing on the speech. The first thing I try to find out what are the good things about the speech. An evaluation has to be very, very focused and positive. If you look at the sheets also, or even the judges' ballot, they ask you to be very positive in your evaluation. So focus on what is good. But there will be one thing which will be great in that speech. Highlight that thing also and don't merge it around good things. So what I do is generally I have 3 to 5 good things. I have one great thing. Then I put in at least 3 recommendations on what needs work. But I don't just put a recommendation. I also put a point on how do you do it. Like if I say that you need to do more voice modulation, I tell them that bring in a character of a little girl over there and try to modify your voice that it will sound like this when you're giving their evaluation. Or bring in a big fat Santa Claus with a ho, ho, ho laughter. So if you're talking about voice modulation, the minute you start giving this kind of voice advices, it helps. If you're talking about floor movement, actually stand in one corner. Or now we are talking in screen. So you can say you can put point number 1 over here, point number 2 over here, point number 3. So don't come up with just vague recommendation that you need to work on your floor place. Tell them how to do it. How is more important. Don't just say that I felt the energy level low. Like when I get a feedback that, oh, your energy level is low, I ask them, how do I improve this? So they say, come on, do a clap, do gestures like this. It will help and show that you're still having a lot of energy. And those are the feedbacks I've got and I've incorporated. So always remember as an evaluator, don't just focus on what is wrong with the speech or what needs work, but talk about what needs work and how to do it. And something about this we will see in the cheat sheet also. Now, while we know what we are talking, it's also important to control yourself. And I really like this image. Like, I think obesity is a challenge throughout India and we always struggle with it. But this is a very nice photo which is talking about like your phone is 98% charged and you're still giving it a full charge. Just a check, how are we doing on the time? Because I need to control myself and ensure that I finish on time. Are we good?
Nikhil, you have 10 more minutes left for you.
Great, great. I am almost done. Okay, so control yourself. Again, when you have decided that you'll meet the speaker before and after the speech, you know that after the speech also you're going to speak to them. So speak about, in those 210 seconds, about 3 to 4 good points, 1 great point, 2 to 3 recommendations and 1 challenge. This is enough for filling in 3 minutes and ending this conclusion very correctly. So learn to control yourself. At one point of time, I got carried away when I was very new to Toastmasters. And we had an amazing evaluator, Toastmaster Geeta. She didn't worry about the evaluators awards or prizes over there. She ensured that she was giving a very right feedback. And I got carried away. I had so many points, I spoke for 5 minutes. Then I realized that at the end of the day, it is feedback. And the person is ready to accept 3 minutes of feedback. I can't force feed him like she's force feeding the child right now. Let me end it at 3 minutes and then go back and do it. And another thing which Toastmaster Lancy from District 98 told me was that we are working in a very professional environment in a Toastmasters meeting. You need to ensure that you're using the time which is allocated to you and you end on time. If you take more time than what you're taking, you are delaying and wasting the time of so many other people. Or you're putting stress on the other people who are going to follow after you and they will have to shorten their part over here. So ensure that you finish within your time. So that was some of the messages which I got, and I think it is important as an evaluator to know this. But it is also important to focus on what we should not do. So don't be negative. Okay, there is a beautiful documentary by the name of Celebrate What Is Right. This is from a photographer by the name of John Dory, and he used to work as a photographer for National Geographic. Please see this documentary. This is so amazing. 40 minutes of telling us how we should look at the world and how there are beautiful things wherein we can focus upon. It's an amazing piece of documentary. And if you're ever feeling low or down or something, please use it. I can try to share a link with you also on this. So don't be negative. Celebrate what was right with the speech. We had a speaker in our club once who froze right in the middle of the speech. So 3 minutes into the speech, he froze, and he did not froze for 10 seconds, 12 seconds. For 1.5 minutes, he was frozen. He was looking at everybody. He was sweating. He was trembling. And after 3 minutes, 1.5 minutes of gap, and he started speaking and he concluded. Toastmaster Anantan from Mulund Toastmaster was an evaluator. He stood up for evaluation and gave an evaluation for 3.5 minutes without ever mentioning the 1.5 minute pause. That day I learned that we should focus on things which are given to us. Everybody knew that there was a long pause, there was need for preparation, there was an area of improvement we could do better. But instead of focusing on the most glaring error, as an evaluator, he spent his energy on whatever was spoken, how do you take it to the next line? And he used one sentence. Next time you re-deliver this speech with your preparation, please focus on this, which covered everything over there. At that point of time, as an evaluator, I would have focused too much on that. Oh, you should have prepared a bit more. You should have remembered this. the pause was something which destroyed, and I would have wasted 30 seconds just focusing my energy on this. Also, don't use all your energy only on the improvements. Call out the positive things also. So spend at least till the green card is coming up, speak a lot of positive things. Then after the green card flashes, get into the improvement area. And one thing you need to do is stop summarizing the speech. If you go around saying today the speaker gave a speech, Speaker Dhananjay Hitarachi gave a speech about his life story, about how he joined Toastmasters, how his father took him out of jail, how his mother was disappointed. You're just summarizing what he has said earlier. Spend the time on evaluation. The speaker was very articulate. The speaker used floor movement. The field speaker has been using humor to engage. Those are the inputs which will give a positive air to the evaluation. And the speaker needs to work on this thing. Summarizing the speech can be done in 2 sentences, which is in the objective. Today, the speaker told us about how to look at potential in different people and how different people saw potential in him. Complete speech is summarized in that for Dhananjay Hitarachi. Move on, move to the next one. I hope you guys, some of you are new Toastmasters, please see the speech. I think a lot of people see this speech and get inspired to join Toastmasters. If you've not seen Dhananjay Hitarachi's speech, please see. I think the VP Education should regularly share some good speeches with everyone. This is the first speech everybody should see, I feel. Okay, this I have already said. Don't apologize for your opinion. Don't defend it. Don't over-explain. We had a speaker who gave a speech about Chai Sutta Chronicles one day. And the evaluator spent a lot of time convincing the speaker that you should not be talking about smoking, or you should be saying that smoking is injurious to health, and then went into his own way of defending it. Oh, this is what I feel. It is my opinion. And this was being done completely in the evaluation. I thought it was a waste of time. We discussed, we agreed that, okay, we could do this better. There will be some speaker who will be talking about some content or something. You have an opinion, tell it flatly. I feel the content was inappropriate and you could do better, but let's discuss this afterwards. Okay. Last and most important, don't ignore the timer. In a physical meeting, last 30 seconds, the minute the red card is up, I stop eye contact with everybody else and I focus on the timer because I want to end the time correctly. And when the red card is flashed for the first time, you should be starting to summarize what is your evaluation. If you go to a contest, there is a chunk of mark, almost 15 points, which are given only for evaluation, summary evaluation. So make sure that you are summarizing it correctly also. Yeah, it's 15. This is the judges' ballot. They looked at analytical quality, 40 points, recommendations, which should be positive, specific and helpful, 30 points. What is your technique? Are you positive, sensitive, motivational? Then you get 15 more points. But the summary, and a lot of contestants miss out this point, is because they don't summarize the evaluation. And this is something you have to do on a regular basis in your evaluation. I always encourage the GE of any club, whenever you are doing evaluations, if the speakers or the evaluators have not summarized their speech, please make sure that you call it out that summary is important, because it will build in good habits over there. Okay, now how do you summarize or how do you evaluate? This is one of the pictures which I see all the time, is about how do you make precise writings. You have to edit ruthlessly. Okay, whatever you have written, whatever you have thought, think about how to do it better. This is not something you will learn one fine day. You have to constantly work on it so that you can bring it ahead. So this is the judges' ballot. This is what is expected. And this is how ratings are given at a contest level. So this is all for advanced people or even for beginners. Know what is expected from you. Now, this is the last picture I have in my presentation before I go into the cheat sheet. And I'll take just 2 minutes with the cheat sheet and we can start with the speakers. I love this picture. Means if you look at it, it's a simple thing like a boy is helping a statue. But I wish this was my kid, or I was this kid when I was young and somebody had clicked this photo. We are here to help as evaluators, not just ourselves to be better evaluators, but we are here to help the speaker as well as the club to function better. So always remember this in mind. Whatever you're doing, all these things, all the efforts you're taking, it is to help a person be the next level of himself on his journey of evaluation. If you approach evaluation with this positive mindset, you won't be hesitant to take up this role and you won't be hesitant to help out or express your opinion. You are here to help. If you don't take any other tips from my entire session today, please take this step. You are here to help. Whatever opinion you have, please share. Lastly, each one is unique. Okay, I'm going to tell you my style. There are various other styles, and you will see some of the styles which work with you. Some of the most popular styles is just saying that what I liked about the speech, what I didn't like, or the CRC method where you comment, recommend, and compliment, and then close on. Then there are other speech evaluation style when people give specific feedback on the content, on the delivery, on the structure of the speech, and then close on it. Sometimes people come up with very, very imaginative thing. I think this time the third place winner had a way with mnemonics all the time. Like he used to say, you are a star today. And from star, S for specific, T for talented and something. And he used to make up things. Now, it's a very good skill. And I saw him doing this in every evaluation, right? But you develop your own style. Until the time you are developing your own style, don't get restless. Pick up with pride or steal with pride good habits you're seeing in anybody else. Call out and acknowledge. This is a good thing, which I see in your evaluation. I want to take this further. 3 years back, I started giving evaluation without notes. I mean, big notes. I used to go on there, and even if I had notes, I used to crumble them and throw them away. Recently, I saw a lot of people in my club also doing that, and they come up to me and say, Nikhil, I'm picking this up from you. You're not the only one who is not using notes now. And I feel really proud about this fact. Okay, so you also develop your style. This is my style, and the cheat sheet is my cheat sheet, but you may come up with a better cheat sheet. So think about it. How do we make it better? There is this beautiful book, Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande. He talks about how you can use a checklist for doing almost anything. And he refers to checklists which are used for flying airplanes or even doing cardiac surgery. Now, when I was reading this book, I saw that if such critical, difficult things can be done with a checklist, why can't we do this for Toastmasters meeting? And that's where I came up with this particular format, which I'm sharing before we get into the speech, and let's practice on this one. Now, just an example of checklist. If you're seeing my screen, and this is more for Dheeraj, who is the GE today. This is my GE report from yesterday in my club meeting. Okay, I'm just going to scroll through it just to give you a flavor of what we did. We had our 612th meeting. So we started by what is my duty as a GE, who is going to come in and talk about it. And yes, Toastmaster Kartiki also mentioned, who was an evaluator yesterday. She did her first evaluation and she still wants to learn and she's here. So very good, Kartiki, keep it up. But I started doing this checklist for each and every one. So this is my way of being a GE on what feedback I have for SA, for PO, for each of the speakers, for the evaluators, for role players, what are you good or what more you can do. And this format is already there. I just, even for table topic speakers, I started penning down what are the important things you need to focus upon. Now, this is a very detailed one. I go into pages in this and it takes a lot of time and a bit of experience to do this, but this is how I'm taking the checklist to the next level. And today I want to share with you the checklist which I use for my presentations. Can I take the chat questions? Spend some time on the chat questions before we do this. Okay, I see no questions right now. In case you have a question, please, now would be a time to either call out or say, or we can go on the next one. Am I going
Hi,
very
Nikhil.
fast?
Hi, Nikhil.
Hello. Yeah, tell me.
So, Digvijay here.
Yeah, Digvijay.
So, I had a couple of questions. One was the slide where you mentioned you have to give 2 points, 2 good points, then 1 great, 2 or 3 good points, one great point, then few challenges and recommendations. Like
Yeah.
1 challenge and 2 or 3 recommendations. So, wanted to know the difference between recommendations and challenges, and any example about challenge.
Yeah. So this is my way of doing things. So suppose you have 3 or 4 critical points to share with the speaker. Okay. My point is that control yourself. If you're going to give more than 3 recommendations, sometimes it doesn't look very nice, or the speaker also says, what is this? He's given me too many negative points. Or in a contest environment, it will come across that you're being very, very negative about things. So one smart way to do this is call out one of the recommendation as a challenge. So I spend a lot of time on recommendation. And if I have something else to say, if I have 10, 15 seconds, which I can spare, I turn a recommendation into a challenge. Like next time you give the speech, I challenge you to use the floor place correctly. Next time you use this, next time you deliver this speech again, I want you to use more characters and give them voice so that you can display your voice modulation. A challenge is the hidden recommendation, but in a motivational way.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. That answers. And the next question was, you said that how do you make notes? You'll be sharing your way of making notes. So
Yeah.
did I miss that or?
No, this is here. I'm telling you. So this is how I make my notes. Okay. We finish the baby pictures. So if you have a piece of paper, just divide this piece of paper in this way. I generally fold it into half and then fold it into the sections. So at the top of it, I always start with a checklist which says, what is the name of the speaker, what topic, and what time he has taken. Okay, because sometimes it happens that evaluator forgets the name of the speaker. This has happened, or the topic. But more importantly, time is also something which at contest level, a lot of contestants do this. So if you have 7 minutes for a speech and a speaker has spoken only for 5 minutes, it's a good way to encourage him that speak for 2 more minutes. You could build in some recommendations which highlights that you could use this time judiciously. You can build in some pauses or things over here. Okay. Then comes the objective. After every speech, I try to identify, is there a specific or a general objective, or what is my takeaway? I generally start all my evaluation by thanking the speaker for giving me a takeaway. Okay, that is covered in my objective, that I'm assuming this is the takeaway the speaker wants me to give. Is it general? It is specific? It is motivational? It is inspirational? It was humorous? I put it out. Sorry, somebody speaking?
No, thank you.
I hear some noise in the background. I hope.
Oh, that is background noise.
Okay. Then comes this section wherein instead of writing notes, I already make a lot of pointers over here. Okay, so I'm talking about how was the opening, middle, and end of the speech. Were there any quotes used? Okay, is there a story which is being told? Is it a personal story or a different story? How are the transitions from one topic to another? In terms of delivery, how was the body language of the speaker? Did he or she use voice modulation? How was the float movement? Then I talk about how do you build up a speech in terms of, were there audience interaction questions? Was there humor? Was there a call for action? Okay, and was there a takeaway? There is a difference between call for action and a takeaway. Takeaway is when there is a moral of the story. That this is what you should do. And call for action is one step ahead, that you need to do this. A takeaway could be, we should take care of underprivileged kids, or you should be able to share your wisdom, can be a takeaway. A call for action is go join Teach India and help kids do something more or share your wisdom. So there is a difference between a call for action or this thing. So this is what helps me instead of making long notes on whether a prop was used or not. Now this keeps on extending. Means I keep on adding things to it. Like I can put over here, was there a prop used or not? Okay, or I want to talk more about, say, humor, then there was emotion used or not. And I can keep editing this thing. And I keep focusing on things which I feel. Like in the speeches which I write for myself, I also use this to keep track of whether I'm using all these things or not. Am I using triads? I love to use triads in my speeches. I like to use anaphora as a particular example. But this is something which you keep on developing for yourself, and how do you want to take it ahead? What is critical? What is important for you? And you can keep adding to this. This is just a basic one I'm sharing with you. And this is one way to make notes during your presentation. Then I go into what was good. Now, basis all the tick marks. When I'm having a speech, I'll just tick mark. Oh, quote was used. Let me put a tick mark. Transitions were good. Let me put a tick mark. I don't make a big note that very good use of transitions done by the speaker. I spend that time just putting a tick mark. When I'm sitting and reviewing it on how do I want to speak, that's where I start bringing all the tick marks into the good part. And I put in one of these good things in what was great. Every speech has one great thing. Please call it out. Because many times the judges who are listening to you, evaluating you along with you, they hear the speech and they also have an opinion on the speech. If this thing ticks marks with them, you score more points. And if the speaker is aligned with the objective which you are stating, the great point about the speech, you get a better connect with the speaker. So please remember this about what was good and what was great. If you can highlight, it's a great thing. Then comes the point about the X's. What was missing? Suppose there is a story told, but personal story is missing. So it needs work. And those things you come across and put over here, recommendations. So work above you write what needs work, and then how do you do this? So if you see the analysis spends, means almost like if you divide this page, there is almost a 25 to 30% of the space is for how do you do and how do you do an improvement. I'm not just calling out what needs work. What needs work is having almost 30% of the space which is given to the recommendation. And this is my way of doing things, and it has worked very well for me. And after I do this, I make sure that there is enough time to summarize. What are the summary points I want to put in? So when I'm looking at my notes before I deliver a summary, these are the things which are going through my mind. And if you make cheat sheets like this for yourself, I think it will help you. Now, somebody else may suggest that you use a CRC method, or they must be comfortable with a CRC. But you can make a checklist with this also. Like instead of recommendation 1, 2, 3, you can have CRC as a point wherein you want to talk about certain things. Or if you want to talk about content, you want to talk about delivery, instead of recommendation 1, 2, 3, you can use it over there. But it's a very nice checklist kind of approach wherein key elements of the evaluation are already covered. I have regularly used this, and now I'm trying to go one step further that I can mentally think about these things rather than making a note. But it's going to take some time and more efforts on my side to make it to this level. So today I want to challenge you that if you have a piece of paper, please collect it before the speakers start. I'm going to hand over the session to the DMod. The speakers are going to come in. They are going to deliver speeches. After their speeches, after the speeches, when the evaluation starts, the first evaluator and I will do the evaluation. Then the second evaluator and I will again do the evaluation. And then all of us can have an open session on what were the comments over here. And then we can close on this session. Sounds good? Can we move?
Yes.
So please pick up a piece of paper, and I'll flash this for say 1 minute more while the speaker and the TMod is getting ready for addressing and the objectives are read out. I'll keep this on. If you're having a piece of paper and you're making your notes, please make it over there. And when the speaker is speaking, I'll try to fill in this one. I've kept 2 sheets ready with me. So I'll try to fill in over here and show you what kind of comments I'm putting it over here so that I can bring it across again. And then we can have a comparison of notes at the end of the thing. Maybe I missed out something which evaluator 1 and 2 are picking up correctly. Or maybe you guys picked up which none of us spoke about it. But collectively, if we come across with a lot of wisdom, the speaker and the club is going to benefit with our inputs. So keeping that in mind, let's be very open about the feedback we have. With this, I end the theory part of the session and let's go into practice. Okay, over to you, TMod.